What's going on, everybody? Aviary Birds and Co here, back at it again with another great video. Today's video is going to be an exciting one, at least for me it is. It's going to be leg band day for these three baby finches. So these finches are approximately 10 days old. They might be 11 days just because finches do not typically tend to hatch on the same day. Usually they're about a day apart, but I believe these guys all hatched on the same day. So they're either 10 days or 11 days old. Now, for me, typically, I like to put my leg bands on 10 days. For these ones, I want to say they might be 11 because they were a little big. So typically 10 days is that right mark. Usually if you can do it between 9 to 11 days, it's the best, especially if you have closed leg bands. So what I have is I use both closed and open. So the closed leg bands, those are not able to be removed once you put them in. To remove those, you will have to cut them. So my closed leg bands are the ones that have my ID. So they have my lettering and they have the sequential number. So for example, this one is AVB2, I believe, or AVB3 for aviary birds number 3. So this is the first year that I started using these closed leg bands. So I started from 1. So when you put these leg bands, the closed ones, so I guess I should start. Bird has, I want to say, 4 toes, 3 going forwards and 1 going back. So when a bird kind of perches on a perch, 3 go forward, 1 goes back. And that's good to know because it is how you're gonna put the leg band in there. You're gonna put the first 3 going in first, and then that 4th one that is towards the back, you're gonna bend that backwards, and then slide that one towards the back. As you can see here, I put the first 3 in. There's gonna be a little knuckle that you see there, and you just gotta kind of swerve it, maneuver it over that knuckle, and then that 4th toe is the one that bends back, and then you're gonna just bend that back as well. Once you get towards the very end, you can actually just pull that 4th toe forward and kind of just pull it and slide it out. And then once you do that in there, that leg band is kind of in there forever. If you do need to remove it, you're gonna have to cut that out. Now there are gonna be pros and cons to using a closed leg band. One of the pros is, like I said, you won't be able to remove it, so it's gonna stick with that bird forever. Like I said, until you cut it, and that's good for ID purposes. So like I said, it does have my initials on there and has a sequential number. So if I sell this bird in the future or anything like that, and they have questions, I can tell them, hey, send me a picture of the leg band, and then I can go back and I can ID where that bird came from and things of that sort. So that's one of the benefits of having that closed leg band. Now, like I said, I do have open leg bands. So this one is an open one. So this one does have a little slit. And the reason I'm putting this one in here is that this one is going to be blue. So that blue is going to tell me what pair this bird came from. So let's say I go and sell this one, and the person that's going to buy it says, hey, can you provide an unrelated pair? The easiest way for me to do it is, okay, I'll have this one with the blue leg band, and I can pair this blue leg band with a red leg band or a green leg band, and it's a lot easier for me to identify that way. Now, because I have so many different pairs, a lot of pairs are going to be having the same color, but I can always, it's a lot easier just to pair different colors. Or if I do need to go back and look at my book, I can just look at the number and see what bird is associated with that number. Now, the last one that I use is this really inexpensive one from Amazon. Now, this one is a clip-on. As you can see, it's wide open, and I just clip it on. And then that color, red, is just going to be for the year 2025. So once again, that bird, when it's looking at me, when it's perching looking at me, for my side, the left side is going to have red for 2025, blue to signify the pair, and then on that right side, it's going to have the ID, which is going to be the gold one. So gold is going to be my initials and ID. Now from here going forward, I did speed it up just because it does take a little bit long. But when you do put these leg bands, you definitely want to be careful. You can break your bird's leg. Luckily, when they're this young, they're very flexible, so it's not that big of an issue. But you definitely want to be careful, and I want to point that out because I do have this fast forward. I think this whole process of leg banding these three birds took about 10 minutes or so. Now in this one, this bird did a kind of kick out that leg ring, and it felt like running. Actually lost it, so I had to go back and find a new one. But these ones, like I mentioned earlier, they're about 10 to 11 days old, and that's kind of borderline when you're using a closed leg band because that knuckle gets a little too big, and once it gets to too big of a size, it's kind of hard to push that leg ring over that knuckle. Now, while this video kind of plays in the background, I kind of want to talk a little bit as to why I leg band and why maybe you should leg band. So it's not a necessity. It's not necessary. If you have a small number of birds and you can identify your birds, you don't have to leg band. But because I kind of have a couple different pairs, and because I breed for genetics and color mutations, that's why I went ahead and leg banded. So, for example, this pair, the parents of these chicks, the female is a white mutation. So she is solid white. She does not have any tear marks. The father or the male zebra finch of this pair of these chicks is split to black breast. So all of these babies are going to be split to white, and one of them might be split to black cheek. So because that father is split to black cheek, not all of these are going to be split to black cheek. If I'm lucky, maybe one of them is. And there are some visual features that you can look out for. But the reason or the benefit of having these leg banded is when I do go ahead and wean these, and they're going to be in a cage of 15 or so, depending on how the season goes, I can identify exactly which ones are going to be split to white. So if I have someone that reaches out to me and asks me if I have any white finches, I can go back and look at my records and I can say, hey, I have these ones that are split to white if I don't have any white ones available, and so forth. If I have a different one, say if I have a orange breast or a black breast, or someone wants a certain mutation, I can keep track. And although they are not visuals of that mutation, on paper and genetically, I can prove that they are split to that mutation. Hopefully that makes sense. But that's the reason why I go ahead and ID my babies. And then that red one, like I said, it's very easy to kind of see how old the babies are. Red will be 2025. Next year I'll probably switch to a different color, maybe green, and that way I can kind of see how old my babies are, or my birds are, without having to really grab them to get the ID number from, or what number those leg bands are. So that being said, you do have to keep good records of your birds. Having them leg band and things like that isn't the most beneficial if you don't have good records to it. So after this, I'll go back to my Excel sheet. I'll ID 1, 2, 3, or whatever number these guys are, and then I'll input the day they were born, who the mom is, who the dad is, and things of that sort. And then I'll do this for every single baby that I leg band this year. And after I went ahead and leg banded them, I'll put them right back in their nest. Now zebra finches are very, very open to you touching their babies and things like that. I wouldn't do this every single day, but I check their nest box very frequently. They're very forgiving. Once I put these babies back in there, the mom jumped back in there within probably like 15 seconds, and she went ahead and started keeping them warm and things like that. So like I said, this whole process took about 10 minutes. So I wouldn't want this to be taking too long. Get them out, choose a warm day, put the leg bands on there, and put them back in there as soon as you can. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and as always, check out our website, Aviary Birds & Co., and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Appreciate it.